to the longest-running real estate talk show in the North Bay, The Real Estate Hour. The legacy continues with Allison Norman and her business partner, Stephanie Norman, the newest mother-daughter real estate team. Here are Allison and Stephanie.
Good morning.
Oh, I sounded really loud. Maybe it's just my...
Happy Sunday, everybody.
Are you awake?
Kinda. Barely.
Happy Sunday. Happy September 7th. How is it already September?
It's just flying by.
It is. So, anyway, here we are.
Here we
It's
are.
our life. Yeah, it's called life. Is that what you said, Joe? Life does tend to fly by,
Yes,
doesn't
it does. It does
Anyway,
indeed.
welcome and a happy Sunday. And it's still nice weather, but it's nice that it hasn't been quite
definitely.
as hot. Because that was...
I just love that it cools down here.
Yeah, at night.
Because we can
cools
have the
down.
really hot days, but then at least the nights, they get pretty cold, especially if you don't have AC.
We don't have, it's funny, we were talking to somebody yesterday, and I realized I don't think I've ever lived in a house that I had air conditioning.
I have not either.
Which is you haven't either. Yeah.
Which I don't mind it.
Yeah, I know, and we're just used to it. And when you talk to people, and we have a lot of times clients come in from other areas, and they're all like, "What do you mean it doesn't have air conditioning? How is that possible?" And it's really we get that cool influence from the ocean that really cools things down at night. There's those rare nights when it's 80 degrees still out, but that's such a rarity.
Yeah, it's got to be a really hot day for that to happen.
Anyway, so I, for one, am glad that things have cooled down a little bit.
Yes, we're looking forward to it.
And fall is upon us, and we're getting ready to wear in our cozy, cozy
I'm
clothes.
so ready for that.
Hugs and sweaters, and
Yeah, so let's get
let's
on
talk.
to the real estate hour.
Right, until then, it's got to be, it's still hot. And it's such a beautiful time of the year here in the fall. I think a lot of people don't understand that come here from other areas. It's September, October, November, even December out at the coast is really some of the best weather of the year out at our coast, the Northern California coast, out to Bodega Bay and all of that. So, but anyway, so because it is not really fall feeling yet, we're happy to see that Waterbark is back.
Yeah, Waterbark.
Traditionally every year.
Lots of fun. They shut down Spring Lake.
Yeah, Spring Lake Lagoon.
Yes, the lagoon. Sorry.
Not the whole lake.
Not the whole thing. Just the lagoon.
Yeah.
Which is normally a swimming hole during summer.
Yeah.
And now they shut it down for the doggos, and everyone can come bring their dogs.
It's such a fun event.
I forget what the cost is. You can...
It's like $15 if you're not a park, regional park member.
Cause, so you're getting the dogs out and you're donating to a good cause.
It's fun. It's a fundraiser. It's you pay I think $7 to get into the park, or you can park outside and walk in, and then it's per dog and up to 3 dogs per person, so that you can manage your 3 dogs. But it's it's like a dog park it's fenced off, very secure in and out. You've got that 2-way and enter and out, and people there making sure dogs aren't getting out and all of that. So it's very secure, and then you get them in there and you let them loose and they can swim. There's like a million balls that people bring their own balls, but then they also provide, I think they throw a bunch of balls out there into the lagoon. The dogs have so much fun, and it's a great time to socialize with people. You can just walk around, not worry about your dog taking off. I have a dog that's a runner, so she is so happy to get out there, and she loves the water too. There are very few places in Sonoma County where you can take your dog off leash and just let him loose and run in the water. So this is a great opportunity and a good for a good cause. And it's every weekend in September, although I think next weekend is just Sunday, not Saturday. But you go to Waterbark, I believe it's waterbark.org.
I think so.
Yeah.
I would just Google water park.
Or go to our Facebook page
Oh, yeah,
because
we do
Stephanie
have it
posted
posted
the
there,
Real
yes.
Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman, and Stephanie posted all the information on that.
I did.
You can buy ahead of time tickets. I think they prefer you to not. I don't know if you can do it when you get there. And then there's a little release form you have to say, you know, I'm not going to hold you harmless if something happens, but all of that. But it's a really fun time, and we look forward to September. Our dogs don't know it, but
I know they don't know.
we were going to go yesterday, and life kind of got in the way. But we will be there for sure in the coming weekends because we like to take advantage of that. So, did you have anything other events that?
You know, I don't.
There was we talked about last week the Halter Project. Did we grab that?
There's the Animal Emergency
I think you have.
Prep Day at Brocco's Barn.
That's coming up next. Is it Saturday?
That is on 19660 Arnold Drive, in Sonoma. And it's pick up your prep passport and animal emergency plan and shop for essentials. And yeah, it's a great. Sounds like a great thing to go to, and it's important to know how to prep for those emergencies with your animals.
Yeah, and they help you, you know, not there's dogs, cats, but chickens, horses, you know, donkeys, sheep, all that. If you have animals and you live in, you know, obviously in a rural area. If you have
Halter Project is going to be doing short pet disaster prep talks and Q&A sessions. So that's good because they're very helpful with They organize.
Yeah, they do a lot of training and then organizing and helping people be ready. And then they work closely with Sonoma County CART and Napa CART and, you know, Marin. Whenever there is a need that has to do, especially with animals, they're going to help you with that. There's also... so that's a good event, and you can go to halterproject.org to get information on that, halterproject.org.
Yeah, so it's Saturday, September 13th, 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Arnold Drive in Sonoma, California. Look it up on Halter Project.
Perfect. And then I wanted to mention I had a press release from Susan Boyle with, she's with Buckaloo, which is an organization here in town, but they are doing it is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Apologies for saying that. Sorry, that was not it. It is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Anyway, but so Buckaloo is doing their 5th annual Tattoo for Buckaloo event, which will take place next Saturday as well. So these are happening next Saturday. So we're talking about them today because we won't be here before next Saturday. But this is one of North Bay's most impactful grassroots mental health fundraiser, raising $75,700 over the last 4 years during Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. We are hoping you might cover... so she was hoping this. Sorry, I'm reading the email. She was hoping we could talk about it on the radio, and here we are talking about it on the radio. So letting people know about it. It is September 13th. And what it is, Petaluma is hosting the 5th annual Tattoo for Buckaloo, a day-long community event that spans across the county, bringing together Sonoma County tattoo artists who donate their time and talents to support Buckaloo programs, life-saving suicide prevention, and mental health services in recognition of National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month.
That's so important.
Yeah, it really is. And so this seems like a good event. They're in their 5th year, and it's Saturday, September 13th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and there's 3 different tattoo parlors that are involved. That's Petaluma Tattoo, 406 Petaluma Boulevard South, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then, and they're featuring a Hog Island Oyster Raw Bar there. So that's Petaluma Tattoo. And then Hidden Coast, which is another tattoo place at 132 North Main Street in Sebastopol, from noon until closing. And then Faith Tattoo, which is at 317 D Street in Santa Rosa at 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So you can walk in, first come, first serve. Participant must be present in person to add their name to the list. Choose from specially designed flash artwork that will be uploaded before the event. You can pay with cash or Venmo. So they have some already planned out design. So if you're thinking about getting a tattoo, this would be what better time than doing it now when they're donating their time and their art and their skill to go towards a great cause. It really is important. It really is important. Get involved in that. So that is, you can go to petalumatatattoo.com/community and then, or Buckaloo, BUCKELEW.org, BUCKELEW.org. And that's the Buckaloo program. It was founded in 1970. Wow. It's North Bay's most comprehensive nonprofit provider of behavioral health services. So definitely, even if you're not going to get involved with this tattoo event, fundraiser, check out buckaloo.org because they do some great things here in the North Bay. Some really important things. So there you go. So that's what's going on. It's also, just while we're talking about national months of, there's a few, and we'll go in more depth next week, but it's also Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and Emergency Preparedness Month. And I'm sure there's other ones I'm forgetting. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. So there's always a few crammed into one. Mm-hmm. And September. Yeah. Anyway, so you'll be hearing lots of things about those things. And childhood cancer awareness is a really big thing too. And it's so much is needed in the way of research and developing.
I know. There's so many things that are in need of more
I know, right? And and it's tough for all the nonprofits support, people are, just because everyone is kind of, a lot of people are financially strapped right now. Mm-hmm. And so it's really, if you can, do what you can to help and support these organizations that are doing so much for the community. So, and we like to talk about community stuff because I really do think it goes together with real estate. It's a real estate show. Why are you talking about community? Well, we just, when you're buying or selling a house, you're not just selling a house, or buying a house. You're buying into the community, or you're selling the community. You're selling the neighborhood. You're selling the schools, you're selling the infrastructure and all the things. So it is important. I think that's why we like to talk about it, right?
Well, it's when someone's looking at a house from out of there, they go, what are the schools like here? What is the community
what
like
can we do?
So,
where can we hike? Where can we ride our bike? How do we get to San Francisco? Is there transportation? And the SMART train is a great great addition to our community as well. So anyway, we're going to take a break. We come back, we will talk about real estate. It is a new month, so we're going to be taking a look at August and what happened in August this year versus last year, and then just our usual numbers that we talk about, and then also a little bit about some common real estate mistakes buyers as investors, or buyers that are going to live there, and also homeowners, sellers. And then if you're have an aging parent that is kind of looking at it, or it's looking like maybe they need to do some change, move, bring in help, all of that. We're going to talk a little bit about kind of how to navigate that, because we do work with a lot of families and a lot of senior people that work in the senior community as well. So we have a lot of tips and information that we can help you with that. So we're going to chat about that when we get back as well. So I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We are the Norman Home Team, and you're listening to the Real Estate Hour. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Good morning.
Good morning.
We are back. We're gonna talk about the numbers, and welcome back to the Real Estate Hour, by the way.
Welcome back. So I have the
we're gonna mix it up a little bit. Stephanie's gonna do the
market snapshot for single family residential in Sonoma County.
So what happened in the last week? And we didn't have, apologies, we never did get to the numbers last week because the MLS wasn't working for us.
Oh, gotta love technology.
Yes. Anyway, so what happened last week in real estate?
Yeah, so from last week to today, new listings, we're at 96, which is down from
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. So, and then median list price is $899,000, which is up from 2 weeks ago. And then we have back on market 17, which is down, and then price reduction is 86, which is still I am looking at the wrong paper. I am so sorry.
Oh, let's go. Let's do it the other. I thought because I thought you said
I
it
know,
was like 100 or something, right?
Okay.
Well,
Take two.
Take two.
Let's start that over. Erase everything if you were writing it.
I was looking back at the other one to get if they were up or down, and I was like, wait a minute, this isn't right. Okay.
That's okay.
So starting over, new listings from 2 weeks ago. 139, which is up, with a median list price of $895,000. Back on market 35, which is also up. Price reduction 100, which is that one's also up, and then in escrow we have 77, which is down. Pending 50, which is also down, and then closed 82, which is up.
Okay.
And so it's median sold price was $767,500, and so it looks like the lower priced homes are what is selling right now, which makes sense because it's a lot of people are more can't really afford the
the higher end of the
right
market
now.
has really slowed down.
Yeah.
As the interest rates start to come down, which I think they actually did have what is a single highest drop in the last year, I think, but still up in the mid sixes. However, they are coming down, and they're thinking now that there was a bad jobs report that when bad things happen in the economy, it tends to lower the interest rate.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. So there's some bad happening. So they're gonna it actually to try and stimulate the economy, they try and lower those interest rates. So as the interest rates come down, I think maybe the higher end will start coming up a little more because it's a little when you add on that interest on a loan, it really in a higher end, $1 million home or even an $800,000 loan, it's a big difference between where it was at 3% or less to where it is now in the mid sixes. So we're keeping an eye on that. Just keep in mind that even if they do go down, we're not anticipating them going down in huge amounts. We're not going to see what we saw during COVID. That was just a big mistake in my opinion, that they lowered them too low and kept them too low for too long, and it really kind of shot ourselves in the foot. They shot themselves in the foot. So
and I was just going to add in there because I didn't say this part, for the days on market was 68 days, which is up from
2 weeks
August.
ago.
2 weeks ago. And so congratulations to whoever bought or sold a home or did both. It was a big process, a big deal, and a lot of people are involved. So congratulations to everybody who was involved in that process.
You made it. You did it.
Woo-hoo.
And congratulations. Yes. You own a new home and you're on your path to great things. So, in my opinion,
or you sold your home and
you're off to new adventures.
Somewhere else. Yeah.
Yes, or maybe you did both. There's a lot of that too, where that's an even bigger process. Anyway, okay, so we got those out of the way. That's what happened this last week in real estate. And then let's take a look at the active or the market, kind of what's happening all over Sonoma County right now. And just to mention, I think you did, but just to reiterate, that was only single family homes on the report that you do, right?
Residential for Sonoma County.
So, and we'll take a look at all of it, and then I'm also going to look at what sold in August last year versus this year. So I want to go first through the active and in escrow, and then we'll do the sold. So single family homes active right now in all areas of Sonoma County is 1,044. With the median price for the active on market properties is $1,149,500. And then single family home in escrow right now, currently sitting in escrow, there's 318 single family homes in escrow, with the median price of those is $843,000. And again, the difference between the active and the in escrow median prices is really showing that more lower priced homes are going into escrow, and the higher priced homes are sitting a little bit longer on the market. They're not to say that they're not selling, they just are taking a little longer to sell. And then condos, there's 139 active condos on the market. That's a big number. However, it's actually down a little from the last few weeks. So good to see that. And then the reason it's good to see it coming down is not because we don't want buyers to have more choices in condos, but when that number is so big, If you're selling your condo, that you've got so much more competition. You really need to work a little harder to make your property stand out. So there's 49 in escrow of the condos and townhouses versus 139 active. Mobile homes, we have 78 active mobile homes on the market right now with 38 in escrow. Multi-unit, 2 to 4 units, we have 95 active on the market with 23 in escrow. And then the land, buildable lots and land, we have 336 active residential buildable lots and land. That over 300, it's been maintained for a few months now, and we hadn't seen it in a few years, over 300. So that's a big amount of land available for sale right now. With just 26 in escrow, that's normal for there to be such a small amount in escrow because land just sells a lot slower. Taking a look at what sold, if we're going to have time for that, was sold in August 2025 versus 2024. Single-family homes, we had 370 single-family homes that sold this year versus 360 last year. The median price is up a little, $832,500, whereas last year it was $819,000. And then what's different, though, is that the difference between the list price and the actual sold price is actually there's a bigger gap this year than there was last year. As far as I'm sorry, take that back. Bigger gap last year versus this year. This year sold price $832, list price $844. Last year was listed at $849, sold price $819. So a little bit different there. Condos, there's 38 sold condos this year in August, 51 last year in August. Mobile homes, 30 sold this year. 42 sold last year. So we actually sold more condos and mobile homes last year than we did this year. Multi-units, there were 17 that sold this year and 10 that sold last year. And land is sitting exactly the same. I did it like 3 times because I said that must be wrong. 19 19 land, buildable land, acreage or a lot in town sold in August of 2025. 19 also sold in August 2024. The difference is there's a lot more to choose from this year than there was last year in the land category. Yeah. So that's a look. Stephanie will have this all printed up nicely and put on our Facebook page after the show. Give her a little bit of time.
The Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman.
Yeah, and it'll be on sometime today. So
yes, I'll go work on that.
Yeah, so that's what the market's looking like. And when we come back, we'll dive into more about some common real estate mistakes for buyers and sellers and how to avoid them. And then also how to kind of navigate that path if you have aging parents that need to make a move. So, all right, Joe, are we the pregame show? I forgot to mention. Pregame show for the Raiders. So anyway, stick around. If nothing else, stick around for that. But we'll be right back. I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We're the Norman Home Team. You're listening to the Real Estate Hour. We'll be right back.
Now, here are Allison and Stephanie.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're back.
We're back.
September 7th.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
September 7th.
And the beginning of the football season, since you mentioned it, as soon as the show's over, Raiders at New England to start the football season's already starting.
Yeah, it has begun. There was a couple of good games, right? A couple of interesting games where people were not behaving well.
The Cowboys lost, so that's a good thing.
That's good. All righty,
Yes.
Good. Well, yes, yay, football.
Yay,
Yeah, we
football.
like the football season.
We do.
Anyway, so but enough of that. Let's talk about some common real estate mistakes and how to avoid them. Starting out, what are you going to start out with buyers?
So we have for buyers and investors, common real estate mistakes to avoid.
There you go.
So buying emotionally instead of logically. Falling in love.
It is a thing,
It
Joe.
is a big deal, Joe.
You mean you're supposed to use logic? No.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm in trouble.
I know.
So falling in love with a property can cloud your judgment. Always prioritize financial viability and long-term goals. Is it a practical or sustainable payment?
Yeah, and it's so easy to get caught up in
It is.
even as an investor. And it says buyers and investors, or really an investor is also a buyer, but and a buyer as an investor.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you're buying it to live in, it is an investment in different things, really. But so you look at it differently, but really kind of keeping your head in the game of, this is what I can afford. This is what I set out to do. This is an amazing house, and there's multiple offers, and I need to offer more, and I need to do all these things. And can I afford it? Yeah, sure, I can afford it. It's going to be a stretch. Really, really have that solid conversation, even-minded conversation. Talk to your lender, talk to a financial advisor. If you're an investor, follow that guide that you hopefully have set up for yourself, that looking at how much money in versus how much money out that you're actually going to get monthly on this investment or long-term gain and all of those things. It's so easy to get caught up in the emotional part of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So just be careful with that, and really before you get caught up in something like that, make sure that you can afford it, right?
Think logically.
Yes. Take your rose-colored glasses off.
Yes. And then, so another big one for a common real estate mistake to avoid would be skipping due diligence.
Yeah.
Not researching the neighborhood, not researching zoning laws or future developments can all lead to unpleasant surprises.
It really can. And, last week we talked about, how sometimes it makes sense to remove those contingencies. If you need to get an offer accepted, you need to have some strength in your offer. It's okay to skip. You're really not skipping due diligence by doing that. You're doing your due diligence ahead of time, And like I think I mentioned last week, I've had buyers, and even when I've bought where I needed to shorten or remove contingencies, is like, what's the worst thing that could happen? What's the most money that I might accidentally have to not knowingly have to pay, not even accidentally, but what if the furnace goes out? What's that going to cost me? What if it actually does need a new roof? What's that going to cost me? There's those things, but then there's also really good points that you made about the zoning laws.
Yeah.
And future construction. What's going in that beautiful field behind you? Is this open space, or is it future development?
Right. It could be that area you love to sit out and watch the sunset or watch the sunrise
and then they come and they're going to cut all the trees down and put some apartments up. So what is allowed to be built next door? So it's really good to do that. And you can do it ahead of time, but don't spend too much time doing it ahead of time. Because then you may miss out on the property. Because if you're doing all your due diligence up front, before you even put an offer in, the chances of somebody else coming along putting an offer in are really high. So even if it's been sitting on the market forever, we see it all the time.
They seem to go at the same time.
Yeah, we see it all the time. It's like, oh, that's the one that's been on the market for 6 months. Let's put a low offer in and see what happens. And then all of a sudden, like 3 other offers come in. And you're, dang it, now I got to offer full price. And now maybe I'm offering more. So don't spend too much time doing your due diligence, but do it.
Yes,
and then you can build it into your offer too, that we need 2 weeks to look into all this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. Because you still have your contingency of.
Yeah, you still have those exit liens if you write them into the contract.
Yes, definitely. And so another big one for common real estate mistakes that you would want to avoid is underestimating costs. Now that is a big one, because you might forget to factor in taxes or what the insurance is going to cost, or maintenance and unexpected repairs. Always build a buffer for those expenses.
Yeah, and it's we see a lot when the market was going. People were buying investments because this is a great investment. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to flip it. All of this.
Yeah.
The cost of doing and then a lot of things. What happened in 2020 is the cost of building went up substantially, people were buying. I'm going to buy this as an investment, and then I was like, oops, the cost of lumber is now $50 of 2x4, or a 2x6, redwood. It was, and it's come down a little, but just that, and the cost of the service providers has gone up because their cost of living and their cost of materials and their cost of doing their business has gone up. So don't estimate. Putting it simply, underestimate.
Yes.
The amount of money you're going to put in, and having that buffer is so important.
It's very important.
Or, don't underestimate the fact that you might have an emergency come up,
Yeah, That's another
And
big
now
one.
you're all, it's no problem. I got, 6 months reserves. Well, suddenly somebody's in the hospital and there goes all your 6 months reserves. So just plan ahead for that and be prepared.
Yes,
Good idea.
Always.
Don't underestimate the cost. What else you got?
Let's see. So another common real estate mistake to avoid is ignoring the investment strategy. So buying without a clear plan, like whether it's for flipping, renting, or long-term holding, it can derail your returns.
Yeah. So, and that's more kind of directed at an investor.
Definitely, yeah.
But, and if you are a real estate investor, you should have a clear plan. There's different formulas. If you're interested, I can get you, a worksheet that we have that really helps you understand what your actual costs are going to be, what your bottom line that you need to get on a return. You look at what your interest rate is going to be on your loan if you're getting a loan. What your costs for management are going to be. That's a big one. People don't understand.
Yes,
if you're going to have a
definitely.
property manager, if you don't live nearby, the short-term rental market is very saturated right now. And a lot of places don't allow those too. So really look into that, and that's part of your due diligence. That don't buy a property that you're going to do a short-term rental on and then find out you can't. But also don't buy a property planning to do a short-term rental that you're going to have a property manager for, because they take a big chunk. So
they do.
write that into your equation when you're seeing if this makes sense, and then stick to it. And that goes back to number one: don't buy emotionally, especially if you're buying it as an investment.
Yes.
Not an investment that you're going to live in, but an investment that you're going to do something with to make money on. So, alrighty.
Definitely. So then, last but not least, for common real estate mistakes to avoid is over leveraging. Taking on too much debt can be risky, especially if market conditions change or rental income dips.
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
Yeah, and that kind of, it goes along with where we were talking about buying emotionally. Don't, make sure that your financial viability, that you actually afford this long term. And a lot of times somebody may look at it and go, well, I can carry this monthly payment for a while, until I can sell it. If they're flipping it as an investor, can you really though? Are you anticipating other issues that might come up along the way? Are you anticipating maybe you underestimated the cost and more things you didn't do your due diligence, and now you need, the whole, everything needs to be replaced, or it needs complete overhaul whereas you didn't think.
Your money.
So be prepared for unexpected things, and really look at, don't get too much of a loan. And we saw this really big time with buyers in the market leading up to our crash in 2006, 7, 8. There was what they were calling the liar loans, where you could basically say, yes, I make $10,000 a month, and what do you do? Oh, I'm a housekeeper, and they go, okay, and they'd write you the loan, so you could write in there, and it wasn't even lender fraud. It was just like, there was a no document, and I'm really oversimplifying it, so lenders and realtors that are listening, don't be mad at me. But, it really did happen where people were being offered loans that they honestly could not afford. And it was because our prices were going up so fast that the lenders were okay with the fact that there was going to be equity, quick equity. They were, as soon as I bought my house in 97, in 1997, I started getting things in the mail saying I could refinance at 125% of the loan to value. So 25% more than what I paid for my house, they were willing to give me a loan because they knew that the home prices were going up. Well, what people didn't think about was the fact that the prices, took a drop off a cliff, trying to say it in a nice way. They fell off a cliff, and everybody was caught off guard, whereas they really shouldn't have, because there were signs. But anyway, to that point is people were over leveraged. They thought that they could maintain that payment, and then something happened.
Oh yeah.
So just, some of those things you can't help, it happens, and you can't foresee, you don't have a crystal ball, but if you build in the protection, so if something does happen, then it can help.
Yes, definitely.
Anyway, so Joe, where are we with the...
How are we on time?
Yeah, let's finish this up and then we'll take a break. So you have a little bit more for home sellers.
Yes, for home sellers, or homeowners and sellers. So we have pricing based on emotion or online estimates.
Yeah.
Those online estimates, they are pretty sure not
yeah, unless
accurate.
You live in a little simple subdivision where every house is the same, or there's 3 different models and lots of lots of transactions, lots of sales, so lots of comps, then they have the information. But even then, they don't know that you updated your kitchen.
Exactly.
Or that you didn't update your kitchen. They don't know that you have, massive amounts of dry rot and fungus, or you have mold growing under your house, so they don't know those things.
And that goes for when you look it up, it usually says estimated home value. It's not the actual home value.
Yeah.
It says estimated.
And that's based on what they can see on the outside. They based on square footage, location. That's
not
all
the condition of the siding or the roof.
Yeah.
All that.
No, they don't know all that.
And so for that, it's overpricing can lead to a stale listing. Use comps and agent guidance instead. So
yeah,
definitely.
Pricing it right is so important, because
very important.
It can end up linger on the market if you price too high. And a lot of people will say, well, let's just give it a try at this price. Well, you really are kind of hurting yourself doing that, because then it sits, and then the buyers start going, I wonder why it's sitting on the market. There must be something wrong with it. Let's offer less, or strategically, I tell people to look 30 days back. What's been on the market for 30 days? Then maybe we can look a little higher price than what you're qualified for, and then offer that lower price, because maybe they're ready to negotiate now. So buyers are thinking that on the buyer side. So on the seller side, be aware of that. If you overprice it and then you sit on the market without a price reduction, or even they start seeing price reductions, they start wondering what's going on with the property.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And so another one is neglecting home staging or curb appeal. So first impressions matter, and a well-presented home sells faster and often for more.
Right, especially when there's so much.
Definitely agree with.
Yeah, so when there's so much competition right now, you really need to make your house stand out.
Yeah.
So doing those things is important. If you can't afford staging, there's actually a lot of realtors now that are helping with that, and we do as well. We have staging items we can bring into a light staging. We can negotiate something.
It really helps, because you walk into an empty house, you just walk
it's a
into
different,
Yeah, and when you walk into a house that's staged, it's a whole different vibe.
It is. You can feel yourself living there.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, put a table here, a couch there, all the things. And so, it does make a huge difference.
A big difference.
And having the outside cleaned up does make a huge difference, too.
I think it does. Some people drive by, they'll stop a buyer and we have an appointment, and they pull up and then they go, oh, never mind. They're calling us going, actually, we drove by. We don't want to see it. Now we have to call the agent and go, never mind.
Okay, so this is another one. Not providing easy access for showings. Yes, that
we've
makes it harder.
We've seen that firsthand. And everybody has, if we can't get our buyers in there to look at it, or chances are if we're looking at multiple things and they're here for 3 days or 2 days or 1 day and we can't access that house, they're going to move on. Unless it's just the dream and it's everything they've been looking for and they really want to, they could put an offer in sight unseen, but then your agent's probably going to recommend that you don't accept that offer because they need to see it first.
Yes, definitely. Because if buyers can't easily view the property, they'll most likely move on to the next one.
Yeah. So,
that's
okay, a couple more real quick,
So,
and then we got to take a break.
Trying to hard sell during showings. Sellers hovering during open houses can make buyers uncomfortable. Let your agents do the talking. Yes, definitely. That is a big one. Don't be there.
just plain and simple. Don't be there.
Go do something for a few hours or
for
the day. Just make sure you're not home. And because it's just
It
not a good
really
idea.
is uncomfortable, and people can't wait to get out of there when the seller's hovering.
Yeah.
Or the seller wants to show you all the cool things of their house, and you don't want to see that. You want to go look at the house, and you've got 5 other houses you want to go look at, and you don't need that interpretation from them.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
go away, and we hate to sound mean, but just go away and let your house sell itself. Let your agent do the talking. Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, last one, then we got to take a break.
Okay, so this is another big one. Waiting for the perfect season to sell. Spring is popular, but homes sell year round. Don't delay if market conditions are favorable. So yeah, we always say this, you don't want to be, you want your house to stand out, and you don't want it to be one of
Many.
Yeah. You want it to be whatever the opposite of that would be.
One of few. You want it to be the only one. Yeah.
Yes. You don't want it to be like the 5th house that's for sale in the same neighborhood. You want it to be the one.
The one. So putting it on when everybody else is going, oh, spring's over. Let's and it's wintertime. We've gotten over the years some really nice deals for our clients at Christmas time. At Thanksgiving, our buyer clients, because one, a lot of agents go out of town, and this is nothing against the agents in town, because there's a lot of great agents, and sometimes they go out of town and they leave somebody else in charge to do showings, but sometimes they don't. So the buyers, and then buyers go out of town, or sellers go out of town, or they want to take their house off the market during that. But really, a house that's on the market during the holidays, if we can get a buyer in there and there's no competition, we can really make a good deal. And that sounds horrible for the seller. Then they're going, well, now you're going to make a good deal. Maybe I shouldn't do it. But there's buyers that absolutely have to buy by the end of the year. So there's 2 different ways you can look at that.
Yeah.
It is a good time to sell your property any time of the year, especially if you need to make that move and you need to sell. Maybe you found another house or whatever. Anyway, we're going to take a break because Joe's saying, take a break. We're going to talk to the end of the show. Okay, and we come back. I want to talk a little bit about helping a parent kind of prepare to move, downsize, move into senior living or whatever. So I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
We are the Norman Home Team, and you're listening to The Real Estate Hour. We'll be right back.
Now, here are Allison and Stephanie.
Good morning. We're
Good
back.
morning. Happy Sunday morning.
Happy Sunday. So I just wanted to mention real quick that we do have our radio show on YouTube. We have been recording it with our phone, and then it takes a couple days to get it onto YouTube. We're still figuring that out.
We're a work in progress. Yes.
But we are putting them on YouTube. It is Sonoma County Real Estate Hour. And so look us up, subscribe, like, follow, all the things.
Do all the things, yeah. We appreciate that. It actually helps our YouTube channel grow as well. And we can do other things with that. But it's good so you can see us and we can wave at you, although you don't get to see what happens during the commercials, so we cut those out.
Yeah.
But
and I was also going to mention we are also on Facebook, The Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman, and we post the numbers. We post Joe is really good at getting the podcast up for us on KSRO.com, and so we posted that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's on Facebook.
Yeah, and you can always go to KSRO.com. Also, look for shows and then Ask the Expert. It's gotten a little bit harder to find recently, but it is there, I promise. And go to shows, then Ask the Experts, a drop-down menu, and then that, if you look for The Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman, or Allison, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
Alrighty.
Anyway, lots of ways to find us on online in the virtual world. If you want to sit down and have a conversation with us or talk on the phone, we're always happy to do that. Our phone number is 707-799-3617. Always no obligation. We're super low key. I hope you can tell that by listening to us on the show. We're not going to harass you to get you to sell your house. We're going to talk to you about really helping you with some solutions. We really kind of are therapists sometimes. We
we're all the things.
We will listen to your problems, and if it has to do,
and we will do our best to help you solve them.
We'll help you find a solution. Yeah, and sometimes it's not selling your house yet. And so we're so not pushy, and so people are kind of afraid to talk to a realtor sometimes, just like they're afraid to talk to a lender. That, oh, now I'm not ready, or I'm not ready to come see your house. I mean, I'm not ready for you to come see the house. It's a mess. You know what? My house is messy too sometimes, so we don't judge. We're so non-judgmental. We will come take a look at your house. You don't have to have it ready for sale, but we can sit down and chat with you, or come into our office and we'll talk there, or meet us at a coffee shop. We're very flexible. So let's talk while we have time about, having said that, I think that our personalities kind of lend really well to working with seniors and families, whether you've lost a parent and now you have a house to sell or an estate to liquidate. We can help you through that process. Or if you're having to navigate that really sensitive conversations you're having with your parents, that, or a single parent that, dad passed away, mom's by herself, now she needs some care. And they're not ready for that. I know that with my own mom, she passed away before we really had to have that conversation, and it was very unexpected. But we had talked about a little, what are we going to do when we have to have that conversation? It's a tough one. So we can help you with, really with the real estate part of it, but also listen to what is going on, what's best for you. We have a huge network through a group called Sonoma County Section on Aging. Of people who work with seniors. We're all very like-minded. We're all very sensitive to the issues and the problems that seniors face. And so we have referrals for you. We have, different senior communities that we can recommend. We have at-home care that we can recommend. Or there's an end-of-life doula that's part of the group that helps people navigate that. If you've been... if somebody in your family has been told that this is the end, how to prepare for that. So we have a lot of referrals for that and recommendations. But as far as our part in it, in the real estate part, really some things that we can help you with is just kind of how to approach that. And then, does it make sense? And just like any seller or a homeowner that's thinking about selling, we're going to have that conversation with you. If we can, we would love to include your parents in that, because we think a lot of times adult children just take over, and then the mom or dad are just going, I don't know what's happening, and as we age, and I'm in that group where, getting older, it's harder to make decisions as fast, and a lot for like the older seniors. It's really a lot, and there's so much information right now and so much technology and all of that, and they're just kind of going, I don't know what's happening, and I don't want to do this, and I don't, and so having those calm conversations and really including the parents in it, I think is important. But sitting down and talking about the things that matter, and does it make sense to bring in care? Does it make sense to move them to, to where they're going, where they need to go, and maybe you're going to rent out their house, maybe not sell the house yet, So it's really being, reminding you to be sensitive to the parents. Because like I said, as adult children of aging parents, we tend to sometimes take over. And it's like, well, is this really what they want? Even though, and maybe it's not what they want, but maybe it's what they need, So having those conversations. So we're happy to sit down with you, whether it's after a parent has passed or when you're trying to navigate that process.
Yeah, and I was also going to mention with seniors where they're needing to go into a senior home.
Yeah.
And it's expensive.
It is.
And people don't realize that. And so the thing with that is there's options where they can rent their house out
to help cover the cost.
The cost of their...
Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily mean you're selling their house,
Yeah.
So anyway, we don't have time to go into the whole list of the things, but just so you know, we're there to help. And like I said, we're very low key. We're not going to come in there and gung ho and make you parents sell their house. But we gotta wrap up on time because we're the pregame show for the Raiders. So
oh my goodness.
Anyway, give us a call if you want to talk about what we were just talking about. 707-799-3617. I'm Allison Norman.
I'm Stephanie Norman.
The Norman Home Team. You've been listening to the Real Estate Hour. Have a great day.
You've been listening to the Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman. The Norman Home Team on Sunday mornings at 9 on KSRO and KSRO.com.